All right, next witness.
Amy Kovac.
Thank you very much.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth and up here?
I do.
Come on, see. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Kovac. Can you state your name for the jury, please, and spell it for the court reporter?
Sure. Amy Kovac, AMYKOVAC,
Thank you. And Ms. Kovac, can you tell the jury how are you currently employed?
with Newport News Public Schools as a reading specialist.
How long have you been employed in that fashion?
12 years now as a reading specialist, but with Newport News for 23 years, and then 10 years before in King and Queen, so 33 years
As a teacher?
as a teacher.
And you're familiar with Abby Zwerner, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How do you know her?
From Rich Neck Elementary.
Did you two work together?
Yes.
And Amy, I want to turn your attention to January 6, 2023. Do you recall that date?
Yes, I do.
And how were you working on that day?
So that day, we had come back from Christmas break, and the state of Virginia has growth assessment tests. And right before Christmas, we had taken the winter growth state test, and I was the proctor. We were making up students that hadn't taken it before Christmas, so that's what I was doing on that day.
Were you the only proctor that day for the testing?
I was the only proctor, but Laura Harris was the examiner, so we were together.
And do you recall how many students were testing that day?
So there were 3 groups. The first group was like some special ed students and 5th graders together. The second group was 4th, and then the last group was 3rd, and there was about no more than 10 per session.
Okay. And on that day, were you working closely with Dr. Parker while you were doing the testing?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what did that look like? What was the responsibilities?
So the responsibilities, and again, I've been in a couple of other schools since that day. Usually the AP did the testing, which would have been like preparing the testing tickets, making sure they had accommodations if they had audio and needed headphones, having a testing box for each session, which had pencils, scrap paper, things like that. And then she would have had to start the testing session from her computer. So it really probably should have all been prepared ahead of time for the most part, because when Laura and myself would come in and sign off, the folders were ready.
So you were getting the folders that had already been prepared by Dr. Parker for testing?
Yes.
Okay. And just so the jury knows, what does AP stand for?
Assistant principal.
Thank you. And was there a time that you encountered JT that day on January 6th? And we're referring to the student as JT for purposes of today.
Okay. Yes. As he was coming out of lunch, I was coming out of Dr. Parker's office because we had finished our second session, and I was heading down to my office to get ready to have lunch before we had to test again at 1 o'clock. And so as I was coming out, Abby and her class were coming from the cafeteria. I had stopped at the cross section where the bathroom is, and he saw me and he ran up to me to give me a hug. I had already been aware that he was having a difficult time at lunch.
And let me pause you right there. Can you tell me, how were you aware that he had had a difficult time at lunch?
Ms. Warner had come into Dr. Parker's office, and she spoke to her and told her that he had already threatened a kindergartner during lunch, and also was, I guess, being aggressive with the security officer. And I was in the office when we were turning back the tickets and seeing what time we had to test next.
So just so the jury understands, who was in the office at that time when Abby came into the office?
Dr. Parker, myself, and Laura Harris, the special ed teacher.
Okay. Can you describe for the jury the interactions between Dr. Parker and Abby on that day, that morning?
So that morning, while we were in there at that time, Abby came in and was standing there like waiting to be recognized. She never was recognized by Dr. Parker. She didn't look up. She didn't look at her.
When you say she, who are you referring to?
Dr. Parker.
Thank you.
Didn't look at her. Abby did say, about the threatening the kindergartner, and already, he was aggressive kind of with the security officer. And then she left because she had to pick up her kids, and it was like 11:45.
Can you tell the jury, state whether or not you know if Dr. Parker heard Miss Zwerner that day?
Yeah, she heard. She told me I could tell her that she could call his mom at any time to come pick him up.
So if he was continuing to act out violent, I guess what did you take that as?
Well, I took it as like if she continued to have problems, then Abby could call the mom.
But
Even
she
though-
didn't tell Abby that, and you're referring to Miss Zwerner, correct?
Correct.
And she didn't tell her that.
She did not. I did.
So when you're going to tell Abby, you encounter JT.
Correct. He came up to me. He saw me. He was happy. He saw me, ran up to me, gave me a hug. I already knew that he was being, aggressive and, wild. And so I had told him, I'm like, hey, buddy, are you having a good day? And he was like, yeah. So, okay, well, make good choices, make Mrs. Kovac proud.
And then where do you go from there?
So from there, the rest of the class was walking down, so I just waited. And then I'm heading to my office. So Abby's room is the last room on the left. There were double doors, and then my office was straight ahead in the second grade wing. So I was heading down there to have lunch before I had to test again. And at that time, 2 little girls came out of Abby's room to the doorway while I was still in the hall and told me that JT had a gun in his bag.
So what did you do at that point?
So at that point, I was like, oh. I walked in and I went straight to him. I was focused straight on him. Abby was kind of coming in and getting the kids settled from, lunch and getting ready for the next activity. I went straight to him. He was in a desk by the windows on the left side of the room, and he was like balled up in his seat, and that is not normal for him. So I pulled up a chair next to him, and I was like, hey, buddy, what's going on? The girls tell me you have a gun in the bag. And I said, can I have that bag? Because typically he's throwing that bag. I carry that bag. We're in and out. His mom carries the bag sometimes. So it was sitting right next to him on this desk, and he's balled up. I said, okay, can I have the bag? And he said, no one is getting that bag. That was out of character for him. And he was sitting right by it. So then he sat there quiet for a little bit, and he started talking. I was quiet. He started talking. He said, people are picking on my friend. R. I don't know if I could say his name, but anyway.
Yes, don't say any minor names. Thank you.
So he was picking on my friend R, and I was thinking to myself, ooh, you have a little friend already. But he said people are picking on him. So I told him, I said, well, let me tell you how school works. If R has a problem, he can tell his teacher, he could come tell me, he could go tell anybody. If you have a problem, you can tell me, you can tell Ms. Zwerner, you can tell an adult. And so I said, we have to worry about ourselves. And so he's sitting there, and I said again, do you have a gun in that bag? And he said, no one is getting that bag. And I was like, okay. Then Miss Zwerner called them to the carpet. He came. I came and sat right next to him. Again, the board is in the front. He sat on the corner here. I sat next to him, and he was facing that bag. And so we did the lesson, and he was still sitting there, and then he started telling me, he said, I got new shoes on, red and black Nikes. And I was like, oh, I like those. He said, but I have to go change my shoes at lunchtime because these are new. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, okay. So we did the lesson. Ms. Zwerner got up and modeled what they were doing, and she told him what they need. He said, I need scissors and a pencil. I was like, oh, buddy, you're not getting any scissors, because heaven knows what he would do with those. I said the lesson did not require any, scissors. So then I went to Ms. Zwerner.
Yes, and Ms. Kovac, let me just ask, as you're describing this, so at some point you do speak to Ms. Zwerner.
Yes, right then,
and
afterwards.
Do you tell her that you're going to go see Dr. Parker?
Yes. Well, what I told her first was, I asked her when recess was. She said in 10 minutes. I said, okay, I'm going to go and I'll come back in 10 minutes to check the bag. But at that point, as soon as I left, I went and reported to Dr. Parker that the girls had reported to me that there was a possible gun. I went and sat with him. I talked with him. I told her what I had done.
And let me pause you before we get into exactly what you told Dr. Parker. So before you go down to Dr. Parker's office, do you tell Abby that there's a concern about something at
Yes.
this point?
Yes.
And you advise her that you're going to find Dr. Parker and
Yes.
talk to her?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you tell Abby to keep an eye on him until you came back?
Yes. Well, yes.
Okay. So now walk the jury through. At this point, you're going back down to Dr. Parker's office. Is she still sitting at her desk?
Yes.
Okay. What do you tell her at that time?
So at that time, I go up to her and I tell her that the girls reported about a gun, that I was in there. He would not give me the bag. He was not acting normal. And so I told her that when Abby's going out to recess in like 10 minutes, that I would be back to check the bag.
And so then, Ms. Kovac, did Dr. Parker respond to you or give you any direction?
She just kind of nodded and acknowledged that that was what I was going to do.
Okay, so you let her know, I'm going to check the backpack.
Yes.
And she nodded her head.
Yes.
Okay.
She was aware of
Do you
what
then
I
go directly back to check the backpack?
No, because I was now waiting, for them to go to recess.
Okay.
So I left her office, was heading back down to my office. When I got to my office, I looked at my cell phone. Abby had texted me and said that they were now outside, but he had gone to his book bag and took something out of his book bag and put it in his jacket pocket. So
Did Abby tell you what she thought that was, or what did you think that meant?
to me, it felt like it was whatever he had, like the gun.
So what do you do once you hear that response?
So after I hear that, I go right to Abby's room and I'm checking that bag. Because again, he was acting really weird, And I checked that bag and I knew it wouldn't be there because Abby pretty much told me something he put into his jacket pocket. So I checked the bag. There was a math book in there. There was a homework book in there. There was a little Spider-Man puzzle that we had made in small group that was there. He had a gold, little coin tokens, from like Happy Meal or something. And then in the front pocket, he had a calculator. He had not been getting math in his modified schedule. And he always wanted me, when we did reading, to do something. I taught him how to write hello on the calculator upside down.
So at that time, you've searched the bag yourself.
Yes.
Do you then go back to Dr. Parker's
Yes,
office?
I do.
And is Dr. Parker still sitting at her desk in her office at that time?
Yes, she is.
Is there anyone else in her office?
Not that I recall.
Okay. What do you tell Dr. Parker at this time?
So again, I tell her that I went and checked the bag. I told her just what I said to you all, what was in the bag. And then I also tell her that Abby texted me that they were out at recess, that he took something from the bag and he put it in his pocket.
Did you tell her you thought it could be a gun?
I told her that I reported that it was a gun. The whole time I assumed she thought it was a gun because that's what the girls reported. And I went and reported to her.
And what did she say in response to you when you said he put it in his pocket?
She did say that, he has little pockets, and I said he put it in his jacket pocket. And I was kind of mad, and I walked away because I have testing. So I went down and went outside to check on Abby and to check on JT to see if he would come to me. At that time, when I get out there, talk to Abby, she said she overheard you heard J, she overheard R say, keep your hands in your pocket. Don't take your hands out of your pocket.
So do you then go back in and tell Dr. Parker about that, what you saw the encounter on the playground?
So, yes, I told her that. I also...
And let me ask you,
okay.
Ms. Kovac, so you tell her that. At that point, do you stress to her that you feel like there's something in his pocket, that he has a jacket on?
Yes, I do. I feel like he did something. He took something. There's something.
And you weren't wavering in your statement to her that you thought he had something that was concerning that could be a gun.
Correct.
And when you go to testing, do you let Dr. Parker know, I'm going to testing, and Dr. Parker says okay, and does she respond to you? Do you feel like at that point she's going to deal with the situation while you go to testing?
Well, I felt like the whole time she would have dealt with the situation. She was sitting right there by her phone.
So did you think she was dealing with this situation?
I did until nothing happened when
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, nothing had happened up to that point. You know what I mean? And then I did have state testing. So she is my boss. You know, I went and did state testing.
And
with
once you
Laura.
went to go do state testing, is she relieved from her duties at that point with state testing?
For the most part, unless like a computer won't start or something, she'll reset it on her computer. But again, it's like a push of a button. And then when we bring the testing papers back, we usually sign them off, and then she'll do whatever she needs to do to get them to say that we're done. I'm not really sure of that part. But we never made it back that day for the third testing to turn in the papers.
So what did you understand the protocol was on that day when you...
Report to administrator,
And who did you report it to?
Dr. Ebony Parker, several times.
And when you went to go do testing, you left that information with Dr. Parker, correct?
Correct. That was all before testing
Okay.
of the last group. We had already done two sets before lunch.
And when you're in testing, at that time, you don't see Dr. Parker again or Miss Zwerner, do you?
No.
Okay. Not until the end of the day.
Yes, not until 2 o'clock.
Okay. Did you feel any assurances after you searched JT's backpack?
No. Again, he was acting so weird.
And did you tell Dr. Parker that?
Yes. Like he was curled up. He likes to talk. So usually, you know, he'd be talking or running around. That bag, we carried it around, you know. His mom usually brings it in that week. She was bringing it in, getting settled. That was a week without, you know, mom attending school or dad attending school with him.
And so,
I checked in on him. I checked in on Abby several times the days that he was there.
so when you're talking to her, do you feel that you explained to Dr. Parker that you feel this is a serious threat?
I thought so.
Okay. You were very clear that you kept going back to look and do
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And when you went to go testing, you told Dr. Parker at that point he's still at recess.
Yes.
And he has a jacket on.
Yes. And then I went outside to check to see if he would come to me. And again, I told Abby, you can call the mom at any time.
But at that time, he's not
He's
acting out or misbehaving.
No, he was behind the rock wall. I thought he would come to me.
Okay. So
He
we
had his hands
get
in his
to
pocket.
the end of the day, and do you hear a gunshot or sound of something that sounds like a gun?
Yes. So Laura and I had finished testing. We had been sending the kids down the hall as they finished. At 2 o'clock, both of us were walking down the hall, had left her room, which is in the second grade wing across from mine. So we came through there's like double doors. And at that point, I heard that gunshot. And instinctively, I walked into that room. As I come in the door, Abby's on this side. I see blood on her leg. So I knew she was hit. I wasn't really sure. On this side, I see Jen open the door, the kids screaming and running out. I felt like I had a bubble of God around me, and I walked straight to him. He was standing there with his legs kind of spread open, arms crossed and cocky. And when I got to him, I didn't say anything. I took his wrist because I knew he shot with his left hand. I walked to Abby's desk where her phone was. I put him in between my legs, put my arms around him. I picked up the phone to call 911. Remembered you have to hit 911 to get out. I asked if this was 911. They said yes. I said, this is Rich Neck. A teacher's been shot. I have the shooter. Send help.
So, Amy, I'd like to read what's been marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 4, please. cooperate with the jury at this time, please?
Objection to public notice?
Pardon me?
This was-
No.
Okay.
Thank you. And this is what's been marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 4. We will be asking to have that submitted to your honor. If we can, play that, please. And Amy, can you see it in front of you?
Oh, yeah.
So Amy, who are you in this photo?
I'm on the
This
left
this
side
video.
in like the red and black with
Okay.
the short hair.
Thank you. And you're walking under a sign that says leaving second grade. What hallway is that?
Second grade hallway.
Is that the first grade hallway you're walking into?
Yes.
If we can continue playing that. And if the jury can pay attention, there is a boy coming out of a classroom. Do you know whose classroom that is, Miss Kovac? Is that Miss West's classroom?
Yes.
Okay. And right now, what did you hear?
At that point, when I turned around, that's when we heard the gunshot.
Okay, you'll continue playing it. And who is that that just came out of the classroom, if you know? Walking in the opposite direction, not across the hall, but down the hall.
I think.
Is that Miss Zwerner?
Did she go? I'm sorry, I
It's
didn't
okay,
see
it's
it.
okay.
But yes, she left as soon as the kids were on my right side and she was on my left,
And she
and
was
I was
next.
facing him as I go into the door.
Okay, so you can continue playing that.
And I think the other one running out is Laura, because she originally had gone into the empty room next door. But when I walked in, I knew Laura would have Abby. Like I knew she was hurt, and I knew Laura was right there with me.
Thank you. Dr. Parker was going to address the situation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That's all the questions I have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any cross-examination?
This one, thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Hogan, can you come up to the lectern, please?
Sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Kovac, you've been working at Richneck for quite some time at the time that this incident happened, correct?
Yes, that was my 5th year.
And at Richneck, you had several roles. You
My
wore
role-
several different hats there when you were working there.
So my role was as reading specialist, which is a support person for the teachers to really get the best practices. If I had other roles, part of my job description is to do other duties as deemed by the administration.
One of those roles included being third in the chain of command in the crisis team, correct?
Correct. I just recently saw that my name was all over that teachers do not get that crisis plan. Usually there's a PD done by the administration at the beginning of the school year.
And as the third in command at an elementary school, that would mean that the superiors above you would be the assistant principal and the principal, correct?
Correct.
So in their absence, that would mean that you would take charge and responsibility for the operations of the school.
With this administration and with the administration the year before, if I was third in command, they always left the number that if there was an emergency or a concern to call the principal at McIntosh, which is right across the street at Jefferson and Richneck.
So like, I want to focus on the day of the incident. You said you a hug, right?
Yes, at the leaving lunch.
And the beginning of lunch? Or
No,
which
at the
are-
end. At the end of lunch.
So right at the end of lunch, he comes up, gives you a big hug,
Yes.
but at that stage, you have received information from Miss Warner.
That he was in the cafeteria. Yes.
Right, well, prior to that, you were present when Miss Warner came and spoke to Dr. Parker.
Correct.
And at that stage, Miss Warner spoke to Dr. Parker and let him know that he was misbehaving during lunch.
Correct.
And your testimony was that she didn't even look up.
Correct.
There was no response whatsoever.
No response. I thought it was rude.
You thought that it was rude. You agree that Laura Hare was present, right?
Correct.
She also witnessed what happened, right?
Correct.
Do you recall, let's back up.
Okay.
Just to understand your testimony today, Ms. Kovac,
Today, my testimony today?
just to be clear,
Yes.
you're testifying that Dr. Parker did not respond whatsoever.
She
when
did
Abby
not
said-
look up from her computer and say anything. She told me that I could tell Abby to call his mom and mom could come pick him up at any time.
And you recall that on this day, this is when annual testing was going on,
Correct.
right?
It was makeup testing. So it was not the whole school. It was not all the small groups. It was just 3 small groups to do makeup.
At the time Ms. Warner came into Dr. Parker's office, Dr. Parker was on her computer, correct?
She was sitting at it, yes.
Right, and the computer faces the door, so the screen faces the door.
Does it face the door? No, the door was here. She was here and the computer's here.
So she was not facing who would come through the front door,
I came through the office door.
but she would not be facing you when you entered that.
I sat like she was right here.
Understood. Ms. Warner, when she came in, that encounter was very brief.
Yes.
She didn't linger, she didn't have a conversation. She
No.
was just in and out.
Correct, because Dr. Parker didn't look up at her, didn't acknowledge her, and she had to go get her kids. It was time that lunch had ended. She came in and reported that, he was threatening a kindergartner and then being like ornery with the security officer.
At that stage, she didn't report any threat of a firearm at that stage. A firearm, weapon, ammunition, nothing.
I'm not, at that moment, no. We
Correct.
did not know about a firearm or anything at that moment.
Right. The first time you learned about that was from 2 little girls who came out of her classroom?
Correct. They
And-
knew I was one of his teachers on the modified schedule.
And when you received that information, you interviewed those children? You spoke with them?
I spoke with them. I was like, okay. And I walked into that room.
Did you do any follow-up investigation with the children?
Not with the children. I went right to him
You
to
didn't-
do some kind, see what he could say and do and
So-
try and get that bag.
And so you had information that from these 2 children
Correct.
that you did not speak to.
I
You
did speak to. They
you-
spoke to me and I
You're
spoke
correct.
back.
You're correct. You didn't follow up to confirm the basis of their
I tried to
information.
follow up by getting that bag to see what was in it and talk to him and see what was going on.
So your focus was to go after that bag, right?
Yes, and him.
And
See
you-
what was going on.
Right. You had just been warned that this small child might have a firearm in an elementary school classroom. So you took immediate action, right?
Correct.
And you went directly to him,
Correct.
right? And you sit down next to him, right?
Correct.
And you're within at least arm's reach, right?
Yes, but
You sat right beside him.
he was here and I sat next to him. He was balled up. I wanted him to talk to see exactly what was going on.
And the backpack, he wasn't holding it.
No, it was on the side, but he had his body close to it.
So the backpack was next to him,
Correct.
right? And you were next to him as well.
Correct.
And you're the third in command of that school, correct?
Not really, only when they're absent. I am not an administrator. I am a teacher with a specialized degree and certification in reading.
You're also not a 6-year-old child.
No, not at this time.
No, and so when you needed to, you've confiscated contraband from children before?
No.
Never. Never as a teacher have you ever confiscated any material from a student.
I mean, papers, homework, something out of their book bag, like money if the parents sent it in, picture day.
Don't elementary school teachers, aren't they in and out of school bags all the time?
Correct.
Right? That's pretty routine.
Again, we did not, knowing JT, his behavior, his actions, and the other children being in the room, I was not going to cause hysteria. I did what I did. I sat there trying to help him based on that relationship, and then I went and reported. And I can't help what somebody else did not do.
And before you did that,
Correct. Good.
when you were sitting next to that child,
Correct.
you could have just reached on over and
I
grabbed
could
the bag.
have, but I can't turn back and do anything that I did not do back then,
Right.
in retrospect.
In retrospect. In hindsight, you're not able to go back and change
Correct.
that decision.
Correct.
But you could have easily, especially
I don't know. I mean, I was trying to protect the children.
you were concerned about being overpowered by a 6-year-old child.
Correct. If you knew him, you would be too.
Were you concerned about being out? Oh, you're
Huh?
indicating that he was a threat?
It,
Did you fear?
not me. I did not fear him. We had a good relationship, him and I. But he is very wild. Administration used to let him talk on the walkie and run around in the office.
Didn't he hug you all the time and smile at you?
Sometimes, depending on his mood and what set him off on the school bus with
Weren't
any
you-
child.
Weren't you also closely involved in his student selection plan, student success plan?
I was,
The facilitator.
so the year before, Dr. Parker did not do her job. That was
That's not the question I
that
asked
was
you.
her job. I took over
Ms.
that
Kovac-
year.
Ms.
Hold on.
Kovac, Ms. Kovac, I've asked you a specific question.
Your Honor, I object to the student success plan. That's beyond scope of direct.
All right. Are you intending to get into that?
I think that I'm exploring her relationship with this student, and so I don't intend to go into the details of that plan, but it will still establish and give context for the jury to understand what's going on.
Right, I've allowed you to ask her whether or not she was involved with that, and she said yes, so I won't let you dig into any more than that.
Understood.
But if that is that point, I'll allow that, that's it.
And I would just, on the record, also object to the relevancy of the January 6th date of offense on this, but I understand.
And I think he's going for the link up with the relationship, and I'll allow you to explore the relationship, but that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
But whether in that role as a reading specialist, otherwise at the school, you had experience dealing with children and having to discipline them.
As a regular classroom teacher, and then, if I'm in the classroom, part of my job is co-teaching or modeling.
And when you're doing that, you also have to discipline students occasionally. If they
Correct.
become disruptive, if they don't listen to you.
Correct. So usually I would follow the teacher's, behavior plan and the consequences because the teacher is the one in charge. Sometimes I would pull the kids and just talk to them, see what's going on. A lot of times, there's different things that happen. They might be mad at another person because they looked at them, or they come from home upset. So yes, I've done discipline based on the teacher's plan, and when I was a teacher, based on my plan.
And throughout all that experience, you've searched numerous backpacks.
No, not really. Only if the parent had pretty much said, there's money in there, there's a library book in there, their homework is in there, it hasn't been turned in.
If you ever suspected that they had something that didn't belong to them, you would just tell them, go get me that book bag. You get that book bag, right?
It depends on what the situation was. In this situation, I did not feel comfortable because I did not know what his reaction would be.
Well, when you were speaking to JT, isn't it true you thought, if anything, he had a toy gun?
That was my own personal thoughts, and I told that to HR. I never told it to Parker because I would not put it past him. But just like any public school, we take children how they come, and we do not know what their home life is like.
You said you wouldn't put it past him. You mean JT.
JT, correct.
You think that he set you up?
I feel looking back, he did set me up or
Judge,
somebody
I'm
up.
going to object to the relevancy of that question.
All right, and what's the relevance of that?
The relevancy is, I think it's conditionally relevant, Judge, and I can lay the foundation for this. I can
All right, I'll withhold a ruling if you can lay some foundation.
specifically, Ms. Kovac, you've testified that when you were speaking to JT and you were in Ms. Werner's classroom,
Correct.
you had, at that stage, sitting next to that child, received a report that he might have a potentially deadly weapon on him, right?
Correct.
And with that knowledge, your next step was to ask for his permission to search his backpack, right?
But if he had a gun in there, I wasn't going to take that out.
You said, no, you would leave it there and continue to teach a lesson in front of the students.
I sat with them in there, with him away from his book bag.
And then you go and you speak to Abby, Miss
I
Warner.
go to, yes, to ask for when recess is, yes.
Right.
And then I leave there and I go and report.
But before that happens, JT tells you, Miss Kovac,
Yeah.
I have some shoes that I need for recess.
Correct.
I need to get into that backpack later. He tells you that.
Correct.
At that stage, and you have that knowledge, you know that he might have a deadly weapon in that backpack. He has told you he intends to access that backpack, and you leave the room, correct?
I leave the room, but I did not think about him having those shoes in the bag. That was in retrospect after all of this has happened.
You didn't think about that because you were tricked.
I was focused on him.
He set you up. is what
That's
he-
how I felt
Judge,
in
I'm gonna
retrospect.
object. A 6-year-old, I think we've already gone over this in the past, can't have the intent here. We're talking about setting her up. It's out of,
Your Honor, I can
But
respond.
No, it was her words, so I'm gonna overrule the objection.
it was the attorney's words to her, Judge.
And
but-
she agreed, so, go ahead.
You're telling the jury that you were tricked by a 6-year-old child.
He did not trick me. I thought of that on my own several weeks
All
after.
by yourself. You thought
Correct.
that up. Very good.
Correct, in retrospect. And his mother also, because she carries the book bag in. So I don't know what he was thinking.
And after you leave Mrs. Warner in the classroom, you left to go to testing, right?
No, I left to go to Dr. Parker.
That's correct. That's correct. You went and spoke to Dr. Parker. You let her know some of the information that you'd received. And then later you went and you speak to Mrs. Warner, right?
So I went back to my office and I got my phone, and Miss Warner had texted me to say that they were now outside. And again, I left my office. I went to Miss Warner's room. I checked his bag, but she had texted me that he took something from his bag and put it in his pocket. After I checked the bag, I went back to Dr. Parker
Ms.
and
Kovac,
I told her.
I want to focus on the text messages. You said that at some stage Ms. Warner texted you and let you know that before recess, JT might have removed something from the backpack.
No. She texted me while they were heading out right after. And by the time I got that text, that's when I texted her and said, I'm going to check the bag. And then I went back to Dr. Parker.
And later you receive a text from Ms. Warner while she's on the playground, right?
That was the text I'm talking about.
Right. And it indicates, I think I saw JT remove something from that backpack, right?
Correct.
The backpack that you left in the classroom, right? The classroom full of children, right?
I left it there, correct?
You did leave it there, as well as Mrs. Warner with those children as well.
And again, those were the actions that we did that day, and I can't go back and change anything.
But if you could,
No, it's not a
And
but
I'm
if I
gonna
could.
Objection, Your Honor, about what she could do.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
not.
gonna sustain that,
information.
or
that's fine,
speculation.
Judge.
Your Honor, I think to strike the comment from counsel.
All right, and I'm going to, we talked about the limiting instruction that I'm gonna give the jury after this witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Ms. Kovac, I'm going to show you an exhibit that's been marked as Defense Exhibit 85. Brian, can you pull it up? Don't publish to the jury yet, please. Ms. Kovac, please read those silently to yourself. The first page there, do you recognize these documents?
The text message?
Yes. If you look at the top one, you see
Yes.
there it says Amy Kovac,
Yes.
and the recipient there, that number, this belongs to Ms. Abby Zwerner, correct?
Correct.
Do you recognize these are the text messages that you exchanged on January 6th around the time that she was out on the playground, right?
And there's only one line, but yes.
Well, there's 2 pages. There's page 2 and page 3 as well. Do you see that?
They're black.
We can fix that for you. Brian, is there an issue? Judge, I think we might have technical issues here, but I can move on to a separate related exhibit. Ms. Kovac, you said that at some stage you went out onto the playground,
Correct.
right? And you actually spoke to Ms. Warner,
Correct.
right? I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as Defense Exhibit 64A. Please don't publish to the jury yet. Ms. Kovac, let me know when you see it on the display there.
Yes.
Right, and Ms. Kovac, do you recognize this? Is this the playground outside of Virginia Neck Elementary School?
Yes, is the
Okay.
primary one.
Brian, could you start the clip so that you can see what happens? I'm just gonna ask you to pay attention to who comes out from the right corner. If you could pause, Brian. Do you recognize the students that came out onto the playground at that stage? Ms.
I mean, you
Kovac?
can't see their faces.
Let's see.
They're first graders.
Sure. Brian, if you could continue playing the clip, please. All right, that individual who just came out, that's Ms. Warner, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and this would have been when her class just went out to recess, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that would have been probably around 12:20 was the testimony today? Correct?
I'm not really sure what time it was. I mean, it was 2.5 years ago.
At this moment, if you could pause, Brian. Ms. Warner's the only adult there on the playground, right?
Correct, with her class.
And this is after you had been in her classroom, correct?
Yes.
And this was after you had let her know that you had information that this child might have a firearm in his backpack, correct?
Correct.
While she's on the playground, she ends up texting you, and that's when she indicates that she saw him before recess remove something from the backpack and potentially
Correct.
put it on his
I
person.
mean, I guess she was on the playground when she texted me. My phone was in the office. So when I returned to the office, after being in Dr. Parker's office, reporting about what was in the book bag and what was not, then I went back to my office. So I did not look at the time as to when she reported, but it had to have been after, they got, because she reported he took something from his backpack.
Understood. Just a moment. Yeah. The full version? Sure. Ms. Kovac, please turn your attention to the screen. We'll continue playing. Your Honor, could I have permission to publish to the jury?
Any objection?
We don't have the preview on our screen, so I don't know what he's asking to publish.
I don't either.
You didn't see the video he was playing?
Oh, if that's what we're talking about, then we have no
I believe
objection.
so.
But I think there's an issue on our end.
Right, 64A, correct?
Judge, could I take, with the court's permission, could I take a brief recess? I think I'm having issues with the exhibits.
Any objection to that?
No objection.
All right, we'll take a short break, folks. Let's say 10 minutes, and hopefully we'll be back here in testimony at 3 o'clock. Okay, so let's take 10 minutes for now, hopefully. All right, are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, great. All right, everything's up and running, and were we picking up at Exhibit 64A, or are we moving
We'll
on?
move on to an alternative exhibit, Judge.
All right, very well. Go ahead. All right, we're gonna pick off where we left off. We have fixed our difficulties.
Ms. Kovac,
Yes.
where we left off, we were still on the playground.
Yes.
January 6, 2023. You had spoken to Ms. Warner. She was now on the playground. You were in communication with her through text message. And at some stage, you went out onto the playground to speak to her.
Correct.
Ms. Kovac, I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as Exhibit 64F in the defense. You can see it on your display. 64F. Ms. Kovac, do you recognize that display? It's at the playground for Ridgeneck.
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to publish to the jury.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Without objection, 64F admitted and published.
Ms. Kovac, I'm just going to play this portion and ask you some questions about it. So if you could pause now, Brian. The two folks you see there around the background, that's you, Ms. Warner,
Correct.
and you're out there conversing on the playground, right?
Correct.
All right. And you're facing the other students who were there present on the playground.
Correct, I think, or my head is turned towards her. I'm not sure.
You're speaking to each other, and you're discussing the possibility that JT might have a weapon.
I was telling her that she could call the mom at any time and to see if he would come over to me, asking her where he was.
Right. And then after you finish speaking with her, you leave the playground, right?
Correct, because I had to go test.
You had to go test,
State test, yes.
right? They were state mandated tests
Correct,
that require strict compliance.
correct.
And you prioritized that over confirming whether or not there was a firearm on this child.
I had already told the assistant principal several times, thinking she would do action because I was getting ready to go test and did not have my phone.
I'm going to show you clip 64G from the defense. That should appear on your display shortly. Can you see it?
No. Now I can.
Brian, can you play the clip? Permission to publish to the jury judge.
Any objection?
Oh,
Any
sorry.
objection?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank
You may. Published and admitted.
Brian, can you play the clip, please? That's you and Miss Warner walking back towards the building. And if you could pause, Brian. You're walking just normally. There's no urgency, right? It's just a casual pace.
I mean, I was walking, I just had my knee replaced then.
You weren't hustling back into the building to report directly to the administration.
I had already reported several times.
And you were walking back to the building, right?
I was for
With your
testing.
back facing these children who are on the playground.
My back is not towards them right now in this video.
But when you're in the building, you're not out there with the children, right?
No, I was not.
Ms. Kovac, do you remember after the shooting happens, you spoke with law enforcement?
Correct.
And you told us folks that when you were speaking to Mrs. Warner on the playground, you told her that you thought, if anything, JT had a toy gun.
I do not recall that.
Your Honor, I would ask you, I'm going to play Defense Exhibit 57A8, which has been marked for identification. It should appear on your display, Ms. Kovac, and I'm going to ask if you recognize this.
What number again is it?
It's 57A8, Your Honor. Oh, excuse. Oh, okay. 57, let's switch to 57A10.
You want me just to pause it so that you can establish?
That's fine. We can do 57A8.
57A. Is that correct?
You're not putting on the jury yet. You're refreshing. Are you about to put on?
You're right.
So that's Jackson.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Sorry. Ms. Kovac, would it refresh your recollection to review your interview with law enforcement?
I have not reviewed that. I know after the shooting, I went into pretty much shock at that time, so yes. I've not seen it or heard it. The only thing I've seen is one body cam when the police were coming in on us.
Ms. Kovac, after this event happened, after this tragedy happened, after you spoke to law enforcement, after everything else we talked about, you reached out to Dr. Parker.
After the shooting,
Do you remember texting her and wishing her well?
I don't truly remember that.
Objection, Your Honor, to hearsay.
All right, you're asking her about a text that she sent, that this witness sent?
Yes, but it wouldn't be offered for the truth.
All right. All right. If she sent it, so
Okay, is
he's
there
not
a-
asking for a response.
Are you showing, I'm just trying to show.
Brian,
Am I
can you
correct?
pull-
You just want to show her
I'll
text?
show this to the
Okay.
witness as well as counsel, and they can see it.
Okay, so the objection's overruled, just that portion, anything she texted, if she can identify it.
Brian, can you pull up Exhibit 119P131, please? Exhibit 119-P131. Ms. Kovac, do you see that on your display?
Yes.
Please take time to review that.
You want me to read it out loud?
No, read it to yourself.
Oh.
And I'll focus your attention on the third text down. This document that you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
do you recognize this as a text message you sent to Dr. Parker?
I think it was in the group text.
Group
No.
text, and you can see Ebony
Yeah, I
Parker
see
says
it.
And the date is,
I
this is in January of 2023, after the incident, correct?
correct. I mean, I'm a kind person.
And permission to publish to the jury, Your Honor.
Any objection to just, I guess, her text?
And, Your Honor, I would object to this text. I think certainly the entirety should not come in because of hearsay, Your Honor, but then when you send just her text, I do feel that it's out of context. I would object to having that come in. I don't see how that's relevant to what happened on the January 6th.
All right.
So she sent after when she said she's in shock.
Right, so your objection is relevance.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I'm overruling that, and they've now brought up just her text. So I'm gonna overrule that objection, and you may publish.
Ms. Kovac,
Yes.
have we published? This is 2 days after the incident,
Yes.
and you're sending a message to Dr. Parker, quote, "You are an amazing person and educator."
And that is true. She
No
got her
one-
doctorate.
No one could have predicted this. That's what you told her.
Meaning a 6-year-old would bring a gun to school premeditated to shoot his teacher.
No one would have predicted that. And you were telling her the truth then, right?
I've been telling
what
the
you did.
truth the whole time.
So you agree here in court today, no one could have predicted this.
Judge, I'm going to object to what no one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
sustain that objection.
No further questions of the witness, Judge?
All right, thank you. All right, any redirect? All right, no redirect. All right, is she under your subpoena as well?
Yes, just making sure that text was entered into.
Yeah, I did. Yep, I admitted it. All right, so do you want her released for the day?
Release for the day, Your Honor.
All right, and-
we'll let her know if we need her.
Okay.
In our case.
All right, so you're still technically a witness, but I'm not going to keep you here for the next 8 days. So you are going to be free to go, but do not discuss your testimony or anything about this case with anyone or listen to or hear about any of the coverage, okay?
Okay.
All right, they'll let you know if you are released or needed back here.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.